Oakland, Indiana's Victor Oladipo played 36 games before he was taken out of the race with a serious injury, and San Antonio's Dejounte Murray will miss play at all this season. Philadelphia's Jimmy Butler moved from guard to forward, so he can't be considered. Insofar as Oladipo, Murray and Butler accounted for 3 of the 4 guards selected last season for NBA All-Defensive teams, there is no legitimate reason one of those vacancies shouldn't be filled by Klay Thompson, who never has received that honor. "It's always been a goal of mine," Thompson said Thursday after shoot-around. "I pride myself on playing both sides of the ball, and that would be awesome, to make all-defensive team before it's all said and done." Thompson's greatest asset on defense is on-ball pressure. He routinely is assigned to the opponent's most dangerous guard, regardless of defined position. If it's Oklahoma City, he gets point guard Russell Westbrook. If it's Utah, he gets shooting guard Donovan Mitchell. If it's Houston, he gets combo guard James Harden. He takes turns against the likes of Damian Lillard and Kyrie Irving, as well as DeMar DeRozan. And Thompson wins more than his share of matchups. Harden is shooting 39.7% against the Warriors this season. Mitchell is at 28.2%. Westbrook is at 22.6%. Performances like that, against stars who dominate the ball, have put Thompson on the radar of voters at a much higher level than in years past. "It is nice to be talked about in a good light," Thompson said. "At the end of the day, the love from media and the fans can be fickle just because it's so game to game. We live in a time where it's kind of, what have you done for me lately, so you can't get caught up in the love right now because the end goal is far from that." If Thompson has been hurt by anything in the past, it is the lack of basic metrics. But even those are improving. He's 5th among shooting guards in steals, 1.18 per game, after ranking 35th, 0.75 last season, and 4th among shooting guards in blocks, 0.64 per game, after finishing 10th, 0.47 last season. The question is whether that's enough to land a spot on the all-defensive team. "I'm not a steals guy," he said. "But we have to have some great defenders on this team. We've been in first place for 4 out of 5 frickin' years. We've got to have some great defenders. It's not just all offense with this team. We got some great guys that play that side of the ball." Oladipo last year was named the NBA All-Defensive First Team, with Murray and Butler making the second team. The only healthy guard eligible for a repeat selection is New Orleans' Jrue Holiday, whose chances will be hurt by his team's poor season. Among those vying for spots this season are Toronto's Danny Green and Patrick Beverley of the Clippers. Milwaukee's Malcolm Brogdon has been terrific but likely will miss the final month of the season. Related, Andrew Bogut shares Klay Thompson's reaction seeing him for first time. "So this should be the year Thompson finally makes the NBA All-Defensive team, first on merit but also on attrition." Oakland, a little more than a week ago in a Toyota Center hallway, DeMarcus Cousins was having a hard time solving a riddle. Following a 27.8 rebound performance against the Rockets, Cousins was still facing a conundrum. "For some reason, I can't just have a good game at Oracle. I don't know what it is," Cousins said on March 13th. "But I'm sure it'll happen eventually." Entering Thursday's matchup against the Pacers, Cousins averaged nearly 6 more points on the road than his home output, shooting less than 37% from the field. However, in a 112-89 demolition of Indiana, Cousins, for the moment, beat the meager odds, finishing with 19 points, 11 rebounds and 4 assists. "DeMarcus was fantastic," head coach Steve Kerr said. "He was physical in there, getting a lot of drives to the hoop, drawing a lot of attention defensively and making great passes." When the Warriors signed Cousins, then recovering from an Achilles tear, the hope was for the former All-Star to give the champs an element it hasn't seen during its run, an offensive-minded center who can dominate down low. Remnants of that promise was seen Thursday evening, as Cousins scored 13 points in the first half, helping Golden State shoot 51% from the field. "The dude is amazing," Stephen Curry said. He did it all different ways in terms of inside, outside. Put pressure on their bigs to have to make decisions. Since Cousins returned more than 2 months ago, he's seen both the highs and lows of an Achilles rehab. Those lows have typically coincided with home outings. Entering Thursday, he averaged 12.5 points on just 36% shooting from the field, compared to 18.5 points on 54.7% shooting away from Oakland. Perhaps Indiana is an appropriate team for the man they call Boogie to find his groove. 2 months ago against the Pacers, in just his 5th game back in the lineup, he scored 14 of his 22 points in the second half, punishing Indiana's front line, giving a glimpse of the levels Golden State could reach. "It's just a different dimension for us that we've never had," Kerr said. "We did play through David West on the low block the last couple years, but it's different when DeMarcus gets going downhill, with shooters around him. He's just a force." Related, how golf has Iguodala. For the last 2 months, the Warriors have been searching for ways to integrate the talented center, and for the time being, the two sides seems to be clicking. Over his last 5 games, Cousins is averaging 19 points, 9.0 rebounds and 5.7 assists. "I love playing with DeMarcus," Klay Thompson said. "He sets great screens, he catches everything you throw at him, and he's just an amazing presence out there with his toughness and competitiveness, and he's going to be such a big part of what we do in the playoffs." Oakland, not for a minute were the Warriors truly worried. Perplexed, maybe, but never concerned about finding the best of themselves. Even as they were stacking up shoddy defensive performances, inviting layups and open three-pointers, they always knew that when the bright lights began twinkling in the distance, they'd muscle up. So now, with the postseason 3 weeks away, they're energizing their defense and getting serious about suffocating opponents. The latest example came Thursday night when the Warriors harassed the Pacers back to Indiana with raw backsides and a 112-89 loss for their time in Oakland. Indiana shot 24% in the first quarter, 32.7% in the first half and 38.9% in the third quarter, by which time the crowd at Oracle Arena was dancing and sipping and celebrating a 28-point lead. For a team playing its 3rd game in 4 nights, across 2 zones, this was profoundly impressive. "Our energy was great, everybody was engaged," assistant coach and defensive coordinator Ron Adams said. "And our spirit was the best I've seen in a long time." Adams acknowledged the efforts in Draymond Green and DeMarcus Cousins, but was particularly pleased with the defensive intensity displayed by Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Durant set a tone with 3 first-quarter blocks, and Curry limited Indiana point guard Corey Joseph to 1 of 7 shooting. Indiana shot 50% shooting in a garbage-time 4th quarter to lift its field goal percentage to 38.5 for the game. "They forced us to take some tough shots, especially when they did some late clock switching," Pacers forward Thaddeus Young said. "We were forced to take some contested shots, and they didn't go in, and then that's what they thrive off of. When you take a bad shot, they either get a leak out or they'll push the break in transition and get threes. A pattern is developing." The Warriors have spent the past 5 games harassing offenses to the brink of despair. 9 days ago in Houston, they limited the Rockets to 26.8% shooting from deep, which is their core offense. Last Saturday in Oklahoma City, the Thunder shot 32.3 overall. The Spurs shot 46.6% Monday in San Antonio, and the Timberwolves shot 40.4% Tuesday in Minneapolis. The Warriors prior to the last 5 games were 15th in the NBA in defensive rating, 109.2, causing worry lines to form within the fan base. Over the past 5 games, they are 3rd, 100.6, and number 1 in the Western Conference. "No worries. It's really been fun to see," Coach Steve Kerr said. "We're more engaged and active." The Warriors started dismantling the Pacers by outscoring them 18-10 over the final 5:03 of the first half, and took them completely apart by opening the second half with a 17-3 run to build a 70-48 lead with 5:58 left in the third quarter. You have to give their defense a lot of credit, said Indiana assistant coach Dan Burke, who took over for Nate McMillan, who is temporarily away for family reasons. They have so much flexibility and versatility, and that switching is like a stoplight for us. We can't allow that to happen. We have to move the ball. We are not an ISO team. We played like there were a lot of mismatches there. I didn't see very many mismatches. Andrew Bogut, who received a standing ovation upon his return to Oracle after nearly 3 years, offered a succinct and accurate analysis. We made them take bad shots in the half-court, late in the shot clock and turned them over. Related, what we learned from Warriors' blowout win versus Pacers. Indy's starters shot 28.6%, 14 of 49, from the field. The Warriors forced 16 turnovers, off which they scored 21 points. With 11 games remaining, the defending champs are turning ruthless. They're finding their edge, the one they'll need beginning the second weekend in April. The team Warriors fans have been waiting for is materializing before us.